Hey friends, Rob Phoenix Power Guy here. Hope you're all doing well. Great day, another good day. But I was watching a video on one of my favorite YouTube channels, and she was kind of talking about Christian witches. And it's a very sore subject for her because, like, you can always tell when somebody's a little more new to the idea of witchcraft and folk magic and non-Christian religions. And I mean new in like they didn't start today. They might be well seasoned, but one of the first reactions that people get when they discover non-Christian religions is anger and resentment and hatred towards Christianity. And I get that. I've been there. I'm a Christian now, and I despise so much about Christianity's history. It's a history of awfulness. Um, that being said, the subject really was about Christian witches, and this is a phenomenon that I believe this is pretty new in the United States, but it's not a new concept altogether. So hear me out. The magical traditions that are recorded in history, and you can go back like to the English cunning craft. You can go back to the Polish whisperers, in the Philippine conjurers, the Welsh hellers, the German Brockeren, and Pennsylvania Dutch powwowers, hoodoo, Appalachian conjure. These are all Christian-based magic traditions. Um, that just is what it is. So for the past like 500 years, give or take, the majority of folk magic practitioners in the world have been Christian. And forget what the Bible says because most of us don't care about that. So you can't judge, you can't do like one sweeping wide like judgment based on like what historically the church did or sanctioned. Um, because these were people using something as a cover for power and greed and corruption and whatever else. Uh, they weren't the actual thing. And think about it, Christianity really goes all the way back to Jesus walking around and just saying some nice things. And he was put to death for it. And that's it. There's nothing recorded where he ever said like hate your enemies and kill the people you don't like and oppress the weak and all this stuff. He never said that. So blame the person, not the ideals, because really at the bottom line, at the root of it is when you strip away all the bullshit of Christianity, which believe me, there's 2,000 years of it, and just get to the root of who was Jesus? And was he a magician? Was he just somebody wise? Was he really the son of God? Was he just, just a low level prophet that people just found charismatic and wrote about? It doesn't matter. Um, all that matters is what he taught and what we took away from that and what he did was heal people, heal the sick and cast out demons. And so we're doing that. All the rest of it is politics and money and corruption and greed and like all that bullshit. So I don't care about any of that. So you just kind of have to separate yourself from that. So when the reason I'm saying this is because um, I often get lumped into discussions about Christian witches. And I used to get angry about it, but really it just actually makes sense. I mean, I was trained as a traditional witch. I'm now Christian. I'm doing folk magic. I'm doing Pennsylvania Dutch Brockerai. But I do still have all that training and all that knowledge and experience. And so there are some things that I still do that are very much remnants of my witch days. Um, that being said, my self-identity, I just prefer to be a Hexmeister, a powwower, a Brauerei. But yeah, I can understand getting lumped into that. And a lot of the people that are Christians and are hoping for some folk magic in their life really want it. I see they identify as Christian witches, but I see them doing a lot of like Wicca stuff. Um, so which is interesting to me because we as Christians, the entire recorded history of folk magic is like Christian. So there's so much there for you to choose from. But I understand that some people like the religious practices that they find in like Wicca Like all the people that I know that claim to be pagan or witches, they're really all just doing Wicca, in some way, shape, or form. And that sort of ritualistic format comes from the Golden Dawn. And prior to that, it comes from like the Keys of Solomon and that Judeo-Christian ceremonial magic. So our roots in that, so don't feel guilty about doing that because our roots are Judeo-Christian. Um, it just is what it is. But yeah, so the idea of Christian witches, I had this book. This girl wrote this book about, I don't know, Christian witch or whatever I think it was called. And really it was very much like she loved the idea of Wicca, but she kind of like replaced it with like Christian stuff. I didn't care for all that, but I because to me it felt like she really wanted to break away from Christianity. But there was part of her that maybe was afraid to. So she did as much as she could that was non-Christian, but still kind of hung on to some of the dogma. Um, I get it. I get why she was doing that, but I feel like she's being held back by her own fear. Like, if you want to be a non-Christian, go for it. Um, because my beliefs are always changing and evolving as well. And I'm kind of getting off track. I don't know where I was going with this, but the idea that Christians can't be witches or magical people is the recorded history shows that we were more than anybody else. So, um, very much can be. It's very much been a part of Christianity since the very beginning. I mean, you had Jesus literally like teaching magic and his followers doing magic. And that's been for 2000 years. We've been doing magic. So forget what the politicians say or the big money people or Kirk Cameron or whatever other idiot gets a microphone shoved in his face. Forget what they say. They're representing something different. They worship the god of money. And that's a foreign concept to me. Um, I don't care about that crap. And if you're going to embrace the idea of magic, folk magic in your life, then that's awesome. Do that. And if Jesus is your guide and your personal teacher in this, that's even more awesome. I can totally relate. Um, but one thing I've learned and I continue to learn, and I'm still in the process of learning, is that calling myself a Christian doesn't mean I have to um, adhere to their stupidity and all these rules and man-made bullshit because fuck that. It's just not that. And uh, recently somebody said, well, Christ came and cured all disease and healed all pain. I'm like, I actually kind of don't see that evidence of that in the world. So uh, let's just stop with all that crap. So anyway, I'm a big stickler for tradition and historical truth. So like if you come to me, the only thing that ever gets me mad is when people try to change history. I don't like that. Just say where it's coming from because that makes more sense. We should not rewrite history because too many people have suffered by their histories being wiped out. And we see that now with the Republicans burning books and banning certain classes in school and like defunding colleges because they teach like the history, like the actual true history of slavery in our country. Like, not a fan of that at all. So I don't want to see that in folk magic. Um, so understand that, like, as a Christian, yeah, we have a really shitty history. It sucks. It's horrible. But we are not those people. We can reach back and get to the root of what was Jesus saying. And I like what he's saying. He was like, don't be a fuckhead, be nice, heal the sick, cast out demons. And that's how we make the kingdom of heaven. It could be here on earth if we're just not dick faces. So anyway, yeah, and I've been there myself. So I have experience in being a dick face, so I get it. Uh, but yeah, you can be a Christian and be a witch. Do what you do. You do you. But we should always like try to be good. try to do good and try to heal when we can. And, if talking to Jesus makes you feel good, and if doing that means you're going to burn some herbs or make little potions and do spells and stuff, you do you. I mean, positive energy is positive energy. And I think we should all, especially in this climate, especially in the United States, Christ, my God, every little bit of positive energy helps. So there we go. That's my rant. I don't even know what I was ranting about. It was just random blah. But cool. So that's all I have for today. Hope everyone's doing well. It's actually getting really warm in my library tonight. I think all the lights and I need to turn the air conditioning on, but nobody cares about that. So anyway, love you guys. If you have any questions, and if you do reach out to me, just know that I can't teach you how to be a Christian witch. That's kind of what sparked this really is somebody asked me like, that it's out there, it's recorded. All of our folk magic traditions are out there. It's only in modern times that we're calling them witches. Um, but whatever, you do you. So that's it. God bless you guys. Love you all. Have a good night.